As I approached the stop sign, I got a clear view of the lake. It's about 20 yards from the stop sign to the lake. I looked over, and crouched down next to the lake were two figures. I didn't think anything of it at first, until I drove past the stop sign, and one of them stood up and looked at me. I pulled over and stared at it. They both looked like mutant bears, but muscular, with human features. I could see fingers with claws. Its face was human-like, but with a snout. I watched for a good minute until the second creature stood up, and when it did, I hightailed it out of there. I don't know what they were. I think werewolves, but I never saw them again, nor do I want to. Yes, this is the account of a woman out of Spring Lake Park, Minnesota. Apparently, there are werewolves running loose in North America, folks. The infamous DOGMEN. I know that there are a lot of people who think they're too old to be believing in werewolves. I mean, why believe in something that you've never seen? Why entertain such an idea as a real-life werewolf? Why? Because people claim to have encountered them. And even though their experiences seem crazy, we can't assume that they're all liars. Now, the majority of us have never encountered a lion, tiger, or bear even, and perhaps never will. This planet is bigger than you think. Most of the wildlife that exists has never been seen in real life by the majority of people that exist. But most city dwellers can swear up and down that there is no such thing as dogmen or other cryptoids. Oh man, they're just demons, dude. Well, if that's the case, then it doesn't help. In fact, that's worse, because demons like to follow you home. There are thousands of eyewitness accounts of Bigfoot and or Dogman. In other words, some claim to have seen both of these beings together. These dogmen have been sighted in over 32 states and in other countries such as Norway, Brazil, New Zealand, Australia, Austria, the UK, and of course the list goes on. Now, according to witnesses, this dogman is a 5.5 foot to 8 foot tall, 200 to 300 pound muscle man with thick fur, a humanoid face with a short snout, long pointed ears, fangs, elongated paws with possibly fingers and definitely claws, red or yellow glowing eyes, the works. People have seen these things running on their hind legs, which appear to be bent backwards like a canine, at speeds over 40 miles per hour. The odor that they describe ranges from a skunky smell to a dirty dog's ass smell. But the difference of odors between Bigfoot and dogmen is somehow distinctive. Many assume that dogmen are just another species of Sasquatch. However, many researchers agree that this is not the case, as dogmen are a smaller and less bulky creature. They also tend to be more aggressive and less covert, as they seem not to care who sees them. Now, Bigfoot does not seem to be a predatory being, but this dogman does. It has been reported that this being will stalk you, it will growl at you, and it will probably eat you. But of course, you'll never hear that from the people that have been eaten. Predatory animals don't like for their prey to see them coming. It scares the prey off. In most cases where the predator is spotted by the prey, the predator runs off. In many cases, they have, however, been sighted feeding on deer and other wildlife. Speaking of wildlife, these dogmen are frequently sighted when coyote are present, in areas where coyote are not normally present, which means that something is attracting these coyote to these dogmen. What's interesting is that UFO sightings have also often occurred in the same area around the same time as these dogmen sightings. Here's a funny thought. What if these dogmen are just the pets of alien beings, taken for a walk on Earth, allowed to roam free, preying on whatever and whoever? Or maybe these things are the human beings turned monster that we are all familiar with thanks to Hollywood. There is the story of a man who traveled to Portugal, claiming to have met a man who was a werewolf. Now, he traveled to this small town in Portugal and met this guy, who took him up into the woods and apparently began to transform. However, the traveler did get away from the guy, but only to stumble upon the home of one of the locals who already knew this guy was a werewolf. In fact, all of the townspeople knew that this man was a werewolf, but said nothing because they figured the traveler would just end up being another werewolf snack. Now, guns seem to just scare dogmen off. Bullets have very little effect, if any at all. People have reported shooting them, and these beasts just run off into the woods and are never found dead. Also, from what people have reported, these things, like gremlins, don't like bright light, or electronics for that matter. This tells us that these beings are very sensitive to certain frequencies, as well as emit certain frequencies that animals and humans are sensitive to as well. People sometimes say that these dogmen give off the strange vibe of feeling angry towards humans. Maybe because these dogmen hunt and eat the same game, and see us as a threat to their food supply, because all they seem to do to humans is scare them off. Look at it this way. An animal will in most cases attack you because it is afraid of you. Humans do it all the time, but dogmen usually end up growling at folks. Speaking of growling at people, here's something that I found interesting. The hair on the dogman's body, like Bigfoot hair, is not just ordinary hair, but is expected to be what gives these beings the ability to cloak or camouflage themselves, like the predator. And the growling actually sends out a vibration that stuns people or clouds their minds so that they can't see the beast even if they know exactly where the creature is. More and more people are coming out with these stories of dogmen, and the discussion is growing. I do believe in the near future we will learn the truth about these sightings, and we will know for certain that these cryptoids exist. But until that day, the tales told of Dogman are great for some campfire fun.